able to get them all for inspect.
So did he do the Pico Scope process and all that, or?
They didn't have to. It's perfect now. They go drive. He drove before and after. He had a shop foreman tested before he did it and after. They said it's perfect.
Well, what I'm concerned about. So I left you a voicemail yesterday. Part of the GM 24,000 mile, the 3 services that I got. The tire balance.
This is a rotate on them. They don't do balances on them.
Well, actually, if you look at the inspection sheet that they do, the multi-point inspection, balancing is actually part of that. So, if it was out of balance, I would have been told it was out of balance. So, for you, when you told me yesterday that you guys put the tires on at 500 miles and that I haven't balanced them in 30,000 miles, that's not entirely accurate. That would have been part of the...
Even if you just had it done last week, they were out of balance, and now they're in balance and it doesn't vibrate.
Right, but what I'm okay, so what you're missing the point is that it's vibrated for 30,000 miles. It's done it for the entire time. So I've gone through the GM, the 24,000 miles.
This plug-in that does the oil change and tire rotation?
Right, and the multi-point inspection, which includes balancing. So it vibrated through that entire process. So what I'm telling you is that the problem is deeper than just 3 out of the 4 tires today being out of balance. What I'm saying is that it's continually vibrated, and part of the TSBs that are out for this says that if the customers complain about that you guys are supposed to go through the Pico Scope process, and if you're not doing that, I'm curious to know why you're not doing that.
Because it's not vibrating.
I'm telling you, as the customer who's driven that truck for 30,000 miles, it is vibrating.
You want to go for a ride with the tech when you get it?
I would love,
Foreman drove it.
I would love to go for like a 15-mile test drive with somebody at that point.
What TSB you got?
I've got 6 TSBs that I have printed out that I've read through thoroughly. Well, the radial force variation balancing, which is the 00-03-10-006M, which has the process which prior to you guys even putting it on a machine, it should have been driven 15 miles, and then after that process should be driven like 7.5 miles, which based on what I'm seeing here, you guys, what's that?
He got on the freeway. You could feel it starting to shake right away.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is that before putting any, it's right off the bat, it says before measuring tires on GM approved tire force variation measurement equipment, the vehicle must be driven a minimum of 15 miles to ensure the removal of flat spotting. So right off the bat, the very first thing that's mentioned on that.
If you have flat spot, you don't have flat spots.
Right off the bat.
That would be what this TSB is.
So if something's
a lot recently bought.
If something,
this is what they have to do before they'll put tires on it when it's under 7,000 miles.
That's not what this says. This says it's important that right off the bat it says it must be driven 15 miles.
I don't know. I'll tell you, man. The vibration's gone. If you want to come down and go.
I'm telling you that it's been going on for 30,000 miles. So for you just to say it's magically gone, I have a hard time believing it, and you need to respect that.
I understand, but how bad this was when it vibrates, I can't see you driving 30,000 miles with it shaking like crazy like that.
I'm telling you that I have video of it. I'm telling you that it has been shaking like that. So
right.
the fact,
I'm telling you, it wasn't 50 pounds out of balance on when it left here. One of your tires was 48 pounds out of road force.
All right. Well, here's the deal. I'm gonna come in. We're gonna go for a test drive. If it's vibrating, you guys can keep it. But at this point, like I said, I'm not gonna let this just be band-aided, and I'm not stuck with this vehicle vibrating. I'm telling you, it's gonna keep vibrating because it hasn't stopped vibrating. So at this point, I feel like you guys should be going through the process that this exactly says it should be. This is a GM TSB that tells you guys how to work on the vehicles. So you guys have to maintain these vehicles based on what they're telling you to do when people are complaining about problems. You guys can't just start engineering your own resolutions to complex problems. That's not how this works.
Well, it's fixed, and if we do things that doesn't need, GM will pay for that.
Yeah, but this TSB says GM will pay for it because they're instructing you exactly how to do it.
TSBs are not covered by warranty. TSB is a service bulletin for a tech to how to diagnose something if you can't figure out how to diagnose it. TSBs aren't covered by warranty.
It's under bumper. Right now, you're under bumper to bumper.
Go further.
You're under bumper to bumper warranty right now. So the problem being that these vehicles have a known problem. Again, there's 6 TSBs out that are specifically related to these vehicle vibrations. They're telling you exactly how to handle the problem. You're choosing to just not do any of that stuff and to just treat it as if it's just a normal tire balance issue, which that your customer's complaining that it's not. So I don't understand.
Come down and go for a ride.
Yeah, all right, we'll waste more of my time. Okay, we'll do that. Did you do the work on the vehicle then? Or?
No, I did not. I rode with the tech after he did the radial force on the tires, and initially when he drove it, he said this console was just shaking real bad. Okay, well, we drove it down the freeway this morning, and this wasn't moving. We have had issues with the radial force on the tires.
But even like what's happening now, that's more shake than what's going on in the loaner that I had. So I think it's still there. I think it's still faint. It's coming back. There it is. That's abnormal. You can hear the pulsation in it. You can't tell me that's normal vibration. If you took your arm off the armrest, that would be worse too.
Well, I only did it while you were turning.
Yeah, and it's a lot of times it'll do that on turns and stuff like that too. So something else at play. Obviously, taking out if those tires were that far out of balance, that was
yeah.
Certainly a portion in helping smooth it out. But I can still tell that it's faintly there. And then, so kind of what I'm getting at is like what you just saw there. Like that's definitely like a little bit nitpicky. But what I was saying, like it's intermittent. Like that's probably just a small portion of what will happen tomorrow when I'm riding with my coffee, and the next thing you know, it'll just slowly start to work its way up again and start shaking around and going.
Because it could be lateral movement on the tire itself, which our machine does not pick up. And I'm wondering if going around the turn, if that lateral movement is causing this vibration.
Okay.
You're putting more weight on the tires on one side when you're. Yeah, we break out the Pico Scope generally when we're trying to pinpoint something, but that was obviously a tire vibration when Carlos initially drove it.
Oh, right. So now it's just a matter of work through what do you think the next step is then?
Well, we have a new tire machine that we just ordered, and supposedly I need to read up on the information on this one some more. It can help us with that lateral vibration, that lateral movement on the tire, because the tire is actually doing this when the wheel's moving straight.
Right.
So, if that's the case, then I don't know when we're getting that machine. It could be next week. It could be Christmas time. It depends on where we're at in line. Because GM just came out with an email beginning of the year that all the dealers need to be compliant with certain tire balancers. And so we ordered that machine.
Right.
I mean, we are compliant now, but we're just getting a newer one because this one we have is like 15 years old. That, to me, would be the next step. I can't wait for that machine to come because it might just cure a lot of headaches that I get.
Yeah, there we are at the 7580. I can hear that. I just can hear it start going. Okay. So you said it's uncommon then for the axles to be the issue?
Yeah. Huh.
So I was reading through like all the technical service bulletins and all that stuff relevant to the situation, and basically what I took as, and I'm not a tech and I'm not trying to insult you guys because I know that you guys know more shit than I do, but ultimately would the next step be, since there is still a vibration, to do the Pico Scope process and try to identify where that vibration is coming from? Because it seems to me like that's kind of what everything is like leading towards, is like, so you eliminate the fact that the tires aren't balanced, now they're balanced, it still has a vibration, so you go to the next step, which would be, road tests with Picos and trying to identify where that vibration necessarily might be coming from.
The Pico can also tell me if it's a lateral vibration, if it's fore and aft, or if it's radial vibration.
So you'd be able to tell which way it's coming from.
Right.
So maybe that's the next step in the process?
Well, we could. Honestly, I'd like to wait for that new balancer, but
I want it, and not because I don't think it's something that's going to be awesome and maybe work.
Right.
But like I said, I don't want to continue. I'm at the point now where I've done this like way longer than I should for as far as driving, but I just want to go through the process of
getting it resolved, whatever that resolution is going to be, and I'm sitting and waiting longer isn't something I personally want to do.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know what. I don't know.
Okay, well, we can put the Pico Scope on there, and then if it tells me it's a lateral vibration, then we might be looking into having to buy different tires, or newer tires, whatever you want to get if it comes down to a lateral vibration with these tires.
Right.
Because you're out of the warranty when it comes to the tires.
Well, 30%. I looked that up earlier today. At 30,000 miles, if it's a tire defect, which lateral movement would be a tire defect, you guys would cover them at 30%, and you guys would cover the cost of balancing and mounting and balancing. I would have to cover 60 or 70% of the cost of the tire.
Okay, my warranty administrator handles it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just.
So you want us to do the Pico Scope?
Yeah. I want to just go through the rest of the.
I'm gonna have to get with my warranty administrator to see who covers the labor on that, because you're out of the tire vibration range. But if it shows a engine vibration or something that's covered, then obviously that's covered by warranty. But if it turns out to be a tire or tires, I need to find out from her who's responsible for the labor on that aspect of it, because that's a time-consuming effort, and that takes two guys.
Yeah.
There's some vibration on turning. Could be a lateral run out. Okay. So he wants us to do a Pico Scope test. I need to get with Beth to see who covers that, if it is a tire.
Okay.
And he said he was going to call GM Assistance, see if they would cover.
I saw in the manual they say that they'll make an extending, different circumstances they may choose to cover more.
Yeah, you gotta call them.
I'll call them and talk to them. Because I just don't want, with the fact, like I said, that knowing that it's a recurring issue with these trucks, to some extent, they're aware of it.
Freeway speeds, everything good?
Going down in the carpool lane at 65.
Yeah.
It was driving good. Cool. And then we hit that.
I can feel a hint of it. It's I mean, the road the balancing helped tremendously, but I can still feel it's alive in there somewhere. But around the turns, it came out more so.
So, and I told him it's time consuming because it takes two of us to do the Pico. Because one has to watch the laptop.
Oh, I got you.
Get with Beth on that.
Yeah, I'll get with Beth on that. Yeah. And then,
make sure this
okay. So, it might be super short guy. I don't see it. Try to do it this afternoon.
Don't they watch it? He goes, they're not going to watch that thing, dude. Yeah, they do. They always do.
Yeah.
Well, Beth, I'm sure Beth has to call him for an
All right, let me know. Thank you.
I just got done test driving my truck after they balanced what they said were 3 out of the 4 tires. My request of having them continue on the process and doing a Pico Scope and trying to identify the vibration was initially shot down on the phone, so I took it for a test drive with a tech. Probably did about 4 miles down the 101 here in Arizona, and at first I thought I was going to have egg on my face because it was riding almost rental truck quality, but it was riding real smooth at first. But me knowing my truck, and like I said, it was a long 30,000 miles I've been in that thing, and I know it's coming back. It's not just the tires, it's something else. So heading down the 101, we got to a point where there was a couple little turns in the road, and right when you turn the wheel, right away you can feel that the center console started getting, coming alive again, and you can hear it. It's always something you can hear at first. It's just a slight little, and I had the water bottle there, and you can see it, and the tech did acknowledge the fact that there is a vibration there. His request to me was that they 6 months from now they're going to have a new tire balancing machine. I am obviously not waiting 6 months to get my truck looked at. So you know, he thinks that it's a lateral motion on the tires, and you know, whatever the case may be. At this point, you know, like I said before, I'm not here to insult anybody. I understand these techs deal with this on a daily basis, more so than what they would probably or would admit or could admit, whatever. But ultimately, this issue is going to further diagnostics. I don't like what they said when I left, which was if it's a lateral motion in the tire, you know, if it turns out to be the tires that the Pico Scope identifies, then I'm then going to be responsible for the Pico Scope process, which is labor intensive and all that. But if it's an engine vibration or a drivetrain vibration, then I'm not responsible for it. I'm not a super big fan of the Russian roulette of tech bills here for a well-known GM issue. So we'll see where this process goes, but ultimately it's still there. I'm still in my rental truck and loaner truck, and I will keep you posted. So again, stay tuned, and I'll let you know where this goes.